It's me, Eric Esteban, and we are back one more time for another episode of Miscellaneous and Brown. And this time we have a very, very special guest. We have the National Communications Co-Director of FilAms for Harris, Michelle Amor. And I'm bringing her on right now. Boom!
Hi.
Live from New York, Queens,
Hi,
New York.
Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to Miscellaneous and Brown, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to introduce you to my audience because we've been friends for a minute. We were helping each other with Steve. We gave Steven Raga a little karaoke comedy boost with Model Majority and all the cats from New York. And
that was
shout
fun.
out to so many of the people that participated in that show. And that's where we met.
Yeah.
But you are now the National Communications Co-Director of FilAms for Harris. You just reached 1,000 followers. It's so quick.
Yeah.
At Instagram. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. And 2K followers on TikTok.
See?
Getting somewhere.
I mean, but people don't understand how important your job is, especially to a campaign that doesn't have that much time, you know?
Yeah.
Like
and
we have 1 week before the first presidential debate. So how are you feeling? Let's gauge your current feeling for the FilAms for Harris. What's the temperature gauge for the campaign?
I mean, I'm excited. The energy is definitely there. When we were at the DNC, it was the most like chaotic experience of my life. No sleep. Everyone was just like working around the clock, putting out content. We were trying to do press releases like every single day, put out a video, photo post every day. And it was worth it because I was literally in line to enter the convention and I would overhear other Asian Americans attending that were just in line saying, "Oh yeah, the Filipinos have been really active." Isn't that crazy? So it's cool to hear like it was worth it. Like people were seeing our efforts.
Awesome. So tell me, I mean, you jump real quick to the Democratic National Convention because I saw all the pictures. And I mean the FOMO was real for me because Chicago's my hometown.
But, really? You should have came through.
I wanted to, but I just got a new job, so it was hard for me to like get time off.
Yeah, timing.
Whatever. I experienced.
Next time.
I
4
felt
years.
the energy, and for re-election, I'm gonna be optimistic. I'm gonna put it out like that. I'm gonna put it like that. I feel like the next Democratic National Convention will be a re-election convention. Hopefully.
I think so too.
Yeah. But I want to know how you were a former ballet dancer. You were the Miss Columbia University. No, but how did that Filipina turn into someone who represents Steven Raga and helps Steven Raga get elected as the first Filipino American in New York ever to get elected office, and also now being part of the FilAms for Harris campaign? What's that journey? Tell me that
journey. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess for me, growing up, my family was always very involved in the Filipino American community. In Charlotte, North Carolina, that's where I grew up. There's not a lot of Filipinos at all, but
Charlotte,
we're very organized. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's not many. It's pretty white out there. But we had a very organized organization. And so like I grew up in there doing like performances and cultural events and whatever. And like my mom was like the president at some point. So, once I was done with my dancing era and I was going to college, that was like the first thing I was looking for. I was like, okay, where's the Filipino club? Sign me up. And I like fell in love with it. That was like where I made all my friends, and I was progressed like through the board, became like president of the Filipino club, and really involved, just like putting on events and organizing to just get like our community visible on campus. And then when I graduated, I just like, of course, wanted to continue doing that type of work. So I started like, okay, the first organization I joined outside of college was Filipino American National Historical Society, FilAms, because I had met Dr. Kevin Udall was a huge supporter of us at Columbia. He would always he was willing to help speak at our events for free and just really help with our programming. So
he's amazing.
He pulled me into FilAms when I graduated, and from there it grew into other organizations. And FilAms is actually how I met Steve. In 2019, we were both receiving awards from FilAms for the Filipino American History Month annual awards. And that's the first time we met. And then, we were chatting another time when we were hanging out. He's like, I might be running for office. And I was like, oh, sign me up for volunteering. I definitely want to be involved with that. And that's kind of how it started. He called me up a few months later. Hey, so remember our conversation? I'm going to be running now. So if you want to volunteer, now's the time to start. And it's kind of how it started. That was my first entry into the political space, I guess, within New York. And that's what grew into progressive roles since there.
So now you're a national part of the FilAms for Harris campaign. You've helped be an integral part of getting Stephen Raga elected in New York. Mm-hmm. Any chance we might see a candidate Michelle one day?
I mean, I've been getting asked that a lot. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Oh, we got a maybe.
You
heard it here first. We heard it here first at Miscellaneous. No, because I think I really do feel like you've been a leader since from jump. Sounds like. And,
Thank you.
And it's really, I mean, you even got my goofy ass in line when we were doing the karaoke event.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we got to do all these documents and you got to fill out all these things. And okay. I'm like, I don't ever want to be a politician, but I do want to help. No, but I do want to get if my comedic voice helps in any way to get your word out and to get Stephen word out and to get everybody else's word out. I mean, that's what this platform, Miscellaneous and Brown, is all about. And that's why I'm so happy and honored to have you on the show.
Thank you.
But I want to, I kind of, now that I have you here and we are talking and I'm looking at this picture that we have, it's kind of almost like a mock debate because you got a crotchety old dude and a young, vibrant, progressive politician and, talking to each other. And no, but I'm really excited because I am very much wanting to speak to your generation of Filipinos. And I know that you're the national communications co-chair, so you would know how to communicate to young Filipino Americans. So what would be your first message for the election, but not even just for the election, just for getting involved as a Filipino American in politics and your community? What would be your advice or what would you want to say first to maybe somebody who's watching this who's interested in it but it hasn't made the leap?
To just get involved in general. I mean, I think the biggest thing is you can't just sit there and complain. You have to actually do something, right? Isn't that what Michelle Obama said at the DNC? Do something. How many times did she start chanting that, And it's just you just do your part. The simplest thing is to vote. At least do that. But if you want to have even more substance, you can find a way to volunteer, get involved with local efforts, because it starts in the local level. It's not just the presidential elections, right? It's you want it to really make change, you have to be involved in all the way up and down the ticket.
If you want to get the first Filipino elected in New York,
exactly,
you got to be involved on the local level.
That doesn't just
and speaking of local level, you're at what? Shout out where you're at, because the hustle and bustle of this Filipino American business, I want to give them their due and shout them out.
Yeah, shout out. We're in Long Island City at Concept Coffee, Filipino Cafe. It's brand new. I think it's new. This
everything has a reason. There's a purpose behind everything, guys. Look at that. We even give a shout out to Filipino business while we are doing Miscellaneous and Brown. I don't need a sponsor. I'm happy to just support by giving them a shout out, and hopefully they gain a little bit of followers. Hopefully we gain a few followers, because Michelle, you know how to get followers, because you got 1,000. Well, look, FilAms for Harris, boom, 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers on TikTok. I mean, that's people underestimate the knowledge and the skill that is needed in order to do something like
that was
and the
something
work
I
that
also
goes into
didn't.
that.
I didn't realize how
Talk
much
about that.
work goes into that. I mean, so when I started, basically the day that it was announced that Kamala was going to be taking over the ticket, that's when the national co-chairs texted me and were like, we need your help. It's all hands on deck. And they were like, we need people to help run media. And the other co-chair is Marilyn Abelos, also from New York, very active historically within the Filipino American community. And she's a member of the Filipino American Press Club. So she's very focused on like the relationships with the ethnic media and the journalism, like those platforms. So that's why they wanted to bring me in as a counterpart to help with more of the like the digital side. So I'm like helping to write our press releases, doing our social media, and it was a lot of work. Putting out press releases, creating graphics, putting together photo posts, and it would not have been possible without a team. So when I got to the DNC, the national co-chairs had selected 2 volunteers. They're both in the Bay Area, Camille and Angela. They're both active with Lead Filipino. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No, not yet, but I will.
Yeah,
I will have them on the
Filipinos,
podcast. Why not?
very focused on like civic engagement within the Filipino American community. Yeah, they're excellent, and that was like without them, it wouldn't have been possible to do all of that work. Like we immediately had to do. It was like I was writing press releases, Camille was like doing graphics, Angela was doing reels, and like together we were able to like put out content like at least 2 posts a day during the DNC. And I think that made the difference. We were able to be super visible, have a lot of momentum. So some of our videos on TikTok got like 20K views already, and I was like, okay. And it was really, it's so worth it, you know, because obviously I feel like within the organizing space, it's actually kind of like a small bubble. And then you realize there's so many other Filipinos out there that like obviously care about the same thing as you, but they just haven't been connected with these like structured organizations yet. I was looking through all the comments on TikTok and it's like, oh my God, I found my people. Or like, how do I get involved? So I'm like DMing each of them. It's like, here's the volunteer link, like sign up and then you'll be connected with your like region. And we wouldn't have found any of those people without TikTok or without Instagram, right? Because we were just using like an old existing MailChimp list from previous campaigns. So it's like people already have their emails, but that's different from like a whole new generation of people that are super excited in a way they haven't been for any other presidential election. And now we're able to get them involved.
That's the amazing
power of
part.
social media is crazy.
It really is. It really is the power of social media, and you've harnessed it. And I think you harnessed it back when we were working with Steve, because you know, Steve and we met at a MAFA conference, I think back in my mini Pacquiao days. So like 2012, maybe 2011. MAFA, the Midwest Association of Filipino. I don't even know what the MAFA stands for, to be honest. I never knew. They just said, Eric, come here and perform. And I was like, cool, I'll do that. And I did. Nice. And I met Steven there. And I was so impressed by this Filipino dude who was in his 20s, who had just graduated from Harvard and was interested in my comedy. And I was like, what? Huh? What? Why you're smart. Don't listen to me. Right. No, but we ended up really striking a conversation and really having a good time. And because my comedy has always been about that. It's always been about, you know, Filipino Americanness, Filipino American stories, Filipino American history. You know, that's always been where I lived, just because that's where I started from in Chicago. I was a political science minor in college, and I was supposed to be a lawyer. And then disappointed my parents, and when I decided that I was like, oh, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be on LA Law.
Oh,
and now I'm dating myself. But that show was on when I was a kid, and I wanted to be on a TV show. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a dramatic lawyer litigating my case for my on a dramatic TV show.
Important, regardless, because I mean it's the same theme as like why we care about getting Filipinos in office as well, right? You can apply that to any industry, any sector. It's just about making our community visible.
Exactly, and telling our stories.
Telling our stories, making sure we're getting the like recognition and respect that we deserve proportionally. We're the third largest Asian American group in the country. Would you know that? If you're looking at the visibility of our cuisine, our culture, our presence on executive boards, our presence in office? No. Right?
But it's changing. It's changing really quickly.
Because
it's changing
of
really
efforts
quickly.
Like this, like people now putting in the work to say, okay, how do we get in whatever respective space I care most about? Like, how do I get my people more visible? And it's so much has changed in just even the last like 4 or 5 years. And I feel like for me, at least personally, that's the underlying reason why I'm involved in like any of my many organizations or volunteer capacities, because I want us to be more visible.
Well, you know, it's the trip about your background and how you and Steve met at FilAms, and how the Filipino American National History Society or Historical Society has been such a huge galvanizing community all across, because I remember them being oh no, we lost her. Oh, there she is. She's come back.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, you're good. I was like, oh no, what happened?
Oh,
but
no,
we're good. I remember Estrella Alomar, who you know, rest in peace. She passed away a couple of months ago.
It's a
probably earlier this year. She was the chair for Chicago's brand, and she set up a booth for one of my first performances when I came back from LA.
Wow.
You know, and she sat next to my parents, and then I shouted her out after she passed a month after I filmed my first full-length special to a sold-out house that was also helped by Fonz in Chicago and Lucky Siap and all the people. And now
I know Lucky.
You know, everybody knows Lucky.
Everyone
Lucky's my guy. Everybody's you're lucky to know Lucky. That's what I say. And no, but shout out to Lucky and the Asian scene, Chicago Online, and Circa Pintig and Ginger Leopoldo, who's now the new co-chair, the chair of Chicago's national the historical society there.
Oh, it is the chapter there. Okay.
Yeah, the new chapter, not new, but after Estrella passed, Ginger took over, and it is they've been nothing but they've just helped me and blessed me every time I've gone back home to Chicago.
Yeah, Fonz is truly like family. Like
they really are.
Fonz is like my OG organization. I'm always gonna feel like the first one that like got me involved.
And I'm also honored to be, even when people from Fonz acknowledge and you're like, oh, this comedy clip, or you know, they come to see an event, or they're at an event and they acknowledge, you know, that's trippy for me, because you know I always try to plan most of my events in October.
Yeah.
Because
Filipino American History Month.
Yeah, because you know, for me, Filipino American History Month is not about celebrating past history, it's about making new history. And this October I feel like it's going to be a little bit
yes, they announced the theme. I don't have it quite memorized, but it's about active resistance. Is that correct?
I'm saying, I don't know. I didn't. Yep. I haven't gotten the theme yet. I know that my theme is always. My theme is always, a little bit of, you know, dangerous resistance and you know, going against the grain.
Yeah.
I mean, for real. I'm a little. I always like to. Lapu energy. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I might sometimes I feel like if I look back on my comedy career and how I've dealt with politics, I'm sure that I rub a lot of people the wrong way, but that's on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how, if you don't like it, then you're probably not going to be a fan of the rest of the show. So you probably should just stop listening, because I'm going to stand on my, you know, my 10 toes down all the time on the stuff that I believe in, because I believed it since I was a kid. and especially
and
the stories.
and comedy is like
American.
the perfect vehicle for that. Like, it's like the perfect vehicle to sort of maybe challenge someone's ideas or make them uncomfortable, but in a way that's okay, but you can laugh about it.
You know what's a trip is that there are like 3 projects coming in October and also one coming in a couple of weeks that I can't even talk about. That is exactly what because I got picked to be a part of a debate panel of a rather big YouTube web series that I can't mention yet because I signed a disclosure, so I can't say more than that. But I am part
but we'll
of
know soon.
You will know soon that it is going to be filmed after the VP and the Orange Ones debate.
The Orange Ones, yeah.
And then so I'm going to be on a debate panel representing Kamala Harris and Harris voters and Harris Walz voters, and
then there will be someone representing the Trump side.
Apparently, I'm guessing maybe.
Okay.
You know, I don't know because we like in the debate with VP Harris, we don't know whether homie's going to show up either. So I don't know if there's going to be other people showing up.
What are the chances it's like canceled?
If I were a betting Filipino, which I am not, because I know how bad that road is. You know, rhymes with Filipino. You know, stop gambling. It's not good for you.
Yeah,
but
it's not good for us.
It's not good for you. But if I were, I would say 60-40. He doesn't show.
Yeah,
I think he's going to show just because he's like a manly man, and you know he's going to show. I feel like he's going to show, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm not even sure anymore about the debate. I don't know what to say. I know she's going to. She has the litigation and the prosecutory skills to eviscerate him.
Right.
But will the mediators and the mics and all the other stuff allow for that? I'm always worried when it's on camera.
Yeah. And the other thing is, obviously, she has those skills to eviscerate someone. But that's also when you're debating with someone normal. And I feel like there's risk because he doesn't play by any rules or respond in a logical way. So it's almost hard to fight.
I mean, he talked about bacon being connected to wind power.
Yeah.
Nobody's eating bacon, and then but if the wind doesn't blow, then there's no power. I don't know where. I was an English major in college, political science minor, and
but that's a strategy. It's like if you just spout random crap that but sounds crazy, and you say it confidently, it distracts.
No, he called it a weave. Remember, it's a weave.
Is that like the technical?
Yeah, look for the clip. Look for the clip because he's like they say that it's all random, but I'm talking about this subject, and then I switch to this subject, and then I switch to this subject, and then I weave it all together.
So you forget.
So it's on purpose. Maybe. Yeah, it's a ridiculous. No, it's not. It's babble.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to use reason and logic against that. So hopefully it's still a productive debate.
But I think like the prosecutor that she is, she will allow for the person that she is cross-examining to hang themselves. And I think that's what the whole campaign has been about. Now it's like, no, don't shut him up. We want the mics to be on because we want to hear what he's going to say because he's crazy.
And speaking about the campaign and going back to communications, it's like their communication style is so different from how even Biden's campaign was. The press releases are so funny. It's always just like, which Gen Z was in charge of publishing this press release? I love it. It's such a different style. It's to the point. It's you know how they used to say, oh, Michelle Obama used to say it, when they go low we go high, but now it's no, we're done with that. It's not that we're going low, but now it's okay, well, we'll fight you.
No, it's not a matter of going low. It's a matter of fighting back.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's standing up to a bully, and as one of my first long comedy piece was called Fight Club for One. It was all of the my battles against bullies as growing up as a kid, and battling a bully, you can only turn the other cheek so many times with a bully, because they're just gonna keep hitting you. So eventually you got to stand up and you got to be like, oh, yo, homie, let's go. You want to go? Okay. You're weird.
Yeah.
And see how hard.
I was just going to say that.
And see what happens.
So simple. Calling them weird.
You're weird.
And they disintegrated.
I'm not weird. I'm not weird. JD's weird. I'm not weird. Yeah, sure you are.
Genius.
You're weird, homie.
Letting that take over.
Yeah. And even I loved what she said when he was like, Kamala just turned black. When did she turn black? And then Kamala was like, yeah, same old, same old. Next question.
Yeah.
I love
it. Don't even entertain it.
Which is brilliant. Brilliant. Because it's a nonsensical argument. Of course, she's been identified as a Black and Indian woman her whole life, a biracial person. And of course, speaking as Miscellaneous Brown, Trump is not the only one who tries to identify and define who you are as a person on the Republican side. That is a tactic and a thing that Republicans and people who feel insecure or inferior in their own self try to do in order to make themselves feel superior to you. By I mean, it's unfortunately been my whole life, like, because I mean, even I made the joke of it this weekend that so I told you I got a new job, right?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting tables at Burbank Airport. I can walk there. It's a great job. Shout out to Burbank Airport. Shout out to Lunchbox. I love this job. No, I really do. It's really great.
I don't think I've ever flown into that airport.
Yeah, I love Burbank Airport because it's where I fly out of too. So like now I know everybody behind the scenes. So I might not even have to pass through TSA, which show my ID. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I probably still will. Well, I'm going to edit that out. No, I'm not going to edit it out. But
anyway, TSA is going to flag you down.
I've already been told that I cannot work for TSA because so it's okay. No, but but I was waiting on a couple of Filipinos, and this was fortunately right before my sold out show in San Diego at Ube World. I was working in the morning, and then I was going to drive to San Diego at night. And I was waiting on this couple of Filipinos, and the man in the pair swore up and down, "You are not Filipino. You cannot be. You do not look even a little bit Filipino. You're not." And then I was like, "Bro, my mom and dad are from Manila, taga Sampaloc, San Andres." And he was like, "Oh, you might really be Filipino." I'm like, and then I pulled out my Instagram and I showed him, and I'm like, I am Filipino. I am one of the. I am Filipino. I'm Filipino, Michelle. She's got I love it. You're good. You're back.
Yes.
You're immediately back. No, but so I made the joke. I was like, how I felt like Kamala Harris because Filipinos are telling me when I'm, when and if I'm Filipino, and I felt like when these people who are, and I'm not going to put that insecurity on those Filipinos. Filipinos just like to, I always have my easy comeback to that when Filipinos say I don't look Filipino. It's because I know masyadong pogi. It's okay. I understand.
I feel like I've also gotten like some people, they're surprised that I'm full Filipino. I'm like, really?
Are you 100% Filipino?
They're like, oh, really?
Miss Isa?
I'm like, no, I did my 23andMe. I'm like 95% Filipino. It was really boring results. I was like hoping for some chaos, but
see, and my sister did it already, so she was like, "Save your money. We're Filipino."
Yeah,
which is cool. I know, but that to me, when Trump did that at the national, black press, whatever, that it really hit me because that's something that happens to me all the time.
Yeah,
you're not this. You're to this. You look Hispanic. You're not Asian enough. You're not, whatever it is. And who are you to tell me?
Right.
Just in the same way, just like Kamala Harris did. Just same old, this same old tactic that insecure people have because they don't know who they are. They're going to tell you who you are. And and that to me was just a chef's kiss of her campaign, and I feel like that's Kamala herself responding to it. Like, enough of this mess. This is stupid. We have much bigger, more pressing issues to talk about. And when she starts talking about first-time home ownership, and I'm in California and you're in New York talking about home ownership. Woo!
Oh my God. Actually, can we just talk about this? Because I'm like a housing nerd. And this is the first time that like a pro-housing message of YIMBYism, like build as much housing as we can to address the housing shortage, has ever been such a prominent focus on a presidential like campaign. When I at the DNC, when she said like, and we need to build more to address the housing shortage, my jaw dropped, because I was like, I thought this was just a thing we nerded out on Twitter about, but now it's on the national stage. So I'm
for me,
really
when she
excited
talks
that's part of her
corporate garb, what's the word I'm looking for? But the corporations who buy up housing and then raise the rent and raise the pricing. But that part of it that's a big deal here in California. There's a lot of people raising the price of.
That's actually such like a small percentage of the problem. The biggest problem that's affecting housing prices going up is truly the lack of supply. And that boils down to restrictive zoning. Did you know in majority of California, it's illegal to build like condos on majority of the land? Like it's zoned.
Girl, I live in Burbank, I know.
Home only. Yeah. So it's like
you can't even remodel your home without making it a multi-unit building.
Yeah. So
like it's stupid.
Like, those are the real issues like that are causing things to just be so expensive, because it's just like a simple supply and demand issue that needs to be addressed. I love that they're starting to talk about that a lot in New York as well. Like they try to convert a lot of existing office buildings. Since COVID, a lot of that is not needed as much, and they're now finally passing the laws to allow those buildings to be converted to housing. So
that's awesome.
We're getting there.
I'm so glad that you know more about this. I'm sure that you know a lot about all the political issues more than I do, but that's okay, because I only look about stuff that I can talk about. No, but I'm so glad that we could talk about this in depth, because it is a big issue for a lot of people from your age to my age who have been struggling, because this generation, this generation after our parents that immigrated here, we aren't able to afford a house. And I feel like that part of the American dream is almost lost to our generation. And I feel like Kamala giving us that, and I hate when I say her first name, because I want to give her respect. VP Harris, when she mentions the housing, it really does hit home.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Literally.
I guess.
No. Yeah.
We might have a clip there. We might have a clip. Oh no, she's gone again. All right, she's back again. All right, it's cool.
Yeah.
That internet of yours is precarious.
I know, my bad. I'm almost wondering, should I go off Wi-Fi and just go off?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're good. Because this is the raw. I don't ever edit my audition. My auditions.
Oh, really?
I edit my auditions, but I don't edit my podcast. No, because this is our conversation, and I love that it is veered towards this, an in-depth discussion of housing and which is a big issue for Kamala Harris, and I think is a big issue for Filipino Americans, especially of our generation. But
I agree.
What I wanted to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one thing. I feel like people almost don't realize is like the housing security is like related to so many other issues. It's like my ability to get to my job, my ability to get to my grocery store. Like, I don't know, everything is related. Like the schools that I'm allowed to access based off of like how my area is zoned. All of this stuff is related to housing. And it's like, if we can address the housing issue, you can address quality of life issues and equality issues like all across the spectrum.
It's the basic, it's the basics. It's healthcare. It's housing, and it's your way of life, and hopefully getting a chance to improve that way of life. That instead of getting by, getting ahead. It's ingrained. These are things that I've been hoping a politician would say for a long time. but in a practical way where, as much as I believed in Bernie and I believed in the whole progressive and almost communal way of sharing money and sharing wealth, I understand with America's greed, it's going to be hard. And you got to deal with the greed of a lot of these corporations and a lot of these billionaires that want to hold on to as much of their money so they can fly a penis rocket or ruin Twitter.
Ruin Twitter. That's the worst. The worst thing.
I mean, that's the worst part of it. Like, he took something that was really fun for a lot of people, and frankly, a lot of artists were monetizing and helping them to create a platform for themselves, and he ruined it. And he took it, and he selfishly took it upon himself. And now apparently he's got an algorithm that makes it so if you're on X, you have to see his tweets. And that was the whole point. Is that
why? I'm like, I don't even follow this dude, but for some reason,
I feel like that was the whole point of why he bought it, was so that
to amplify his own,
give him his own voice.
That is,
and he spent $44 billion on that.
Yeah,
can you imagine?
Just so everyone's forced to read his tweets. That's crazy. And I love that X hasn't stuck. Like, no one calls it.
I'm on Threads, girl. I'm on Threads now. I've been on Threads since before. I deleted my X as soon as I deleted my Twitter as soon as he bought it. Yeah, I'm for real on Threads.
I made Threads, I made an account, but literally never used it.
You know what happened? You know what, when Threads was activated, and what happened when people started going on Threads was during the Kendrick and Drake battle.
Really?
Threads exploded, and everybody started posting on Threads. Yeah. So I started posting on Threads after that, and got some followers.
Maybe I gotta give me some comms notes. Okay, gotta tell our communication strategy. We gotta start going on Threads now too.
I mean, it's just another sub. I'm looking into Substack too, and posting.
Substack is great.
Yeah, and there's a lot of newer platforms that have germinated because X is what it is now. So it's not you guys got 2,000 followers on TikTok. I feel like even TikTok is another platform, and I'm trying to figure that out now because I don't know how to.
You could do it. You're already doing Reels. It's the same thing. You just post it on TikTok.
Yeah, no, and I will, and I feel like there's a few clips that we have of this.
Okay.
And we've been talking for 40 minutes.
Are we gonna go
viral? You know what? I feel like we're going to, and then FilAms for Harris is going to go viral because of the clips that we have here, and then I'm going to go viral because of the clips we have here, and then wait, there's more, and then Tim Walz is going to see it, and his kids, and Gus is going to see it. We're going to make Gus cry again because of how inspiring it was.
Yeah.
And then Tim's is going to be touched, and then he's going to reach out. Tim's going to reach out to me on DMs.
To go on the show.
And then as a fellow first gentleman, because I call myself the first gentleman because my wife makes more money than me.
Okay.
Makes way more money.
Okay.
I am a broke ass stand-up comedian, and my wife is a bank executive. And
broke artist life. Got it.
Exactly. And so I feel a lot of Doug Emhoff energy. I'm like first gentleman where I have to defer to my more successful wife. I have a lot of, so I feel Doug Emhoff in my soul.
I love Doug Emhoff.
And I feel like I'm going to meet Doug Emhoff. He's going to reach out. He's going to be like, yo, I feel like you could be my comedy spokesperson for less successful men.
I mean, I think he was a pretty successful lawyer.
No, but that's the thing is he is super successful. That's why I vibe with him because could you even imagine being able to defer a successful Hollywood entertainment job and be like, nah, I'm cool. I'm just gonna hang with my wife in the naval office, whatever, wherever they live in VP and soon to be the White House. I love that. I love that about him. And I love the fact that he's so supportive of her because I'm the same way.
I met him in the Philippines of all places. Isn't that crazy?
When did you meet him in the Philippines? How did you meet Doug?
I met Doug Emhoff in the Philippines in 2022. I was there for FilPro. Have you heard of FilPro?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was part of the 2022 batch that did their immersion program, and we had an event at with the U.S. Embassy there. And Doug spoke to our PhilPro class, and like he like introduced himself. It's pretty cool. He was very friendly, just like he is in the videos.
He seems super friendly. He seems like a super cool guy. I'm waiting to be on a Soul Cycle class, and then he's gonna be right next to me, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, Eric, I've seen Miscellaneous Sprout. I like it. Let's just keep going. I know we're both older men at the Soul Cycle class, so let's just keep going. We'll pace each other."
Isn't that how he got the call, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just listening to a podcast about how he actually missed the call because he didn't have his phone with him in the Soul Cycle class because you're not allowed to.
Like such a normal chill.
And that's what I want. I want Tim Walz as VP. I want Doug Emhoff, cool, normal,
normal people
with their masculinity, dudes that don't have, they can cry, they can love their sons, they can, all these things.
Did you see the Tim Walz video where he went on Subway Takes?
Subway Takes?
Or have you heard of Subway Takes?
No. What is this?
Subway Takes it's so funny. You should check it out. It's this guy who just he interviews people on the subway, and they just discuss like a really hot take. And it's like pretty viral on Instagram. And Tim Walz did the Subway Takes video. Like, that's what I was like, again, with the comms team, like, what genius stuck him on this, like, viral Instagram, like, Subway Take thing. So they're not actually on the subway because it was not a New York subway. I don't know what they were on. Maybe they were on an Amtrak. But he's talking about, like, what's your hot take? And he was like, my hot take is that, like, the gutters are, like, the most important part of home ownership or the most neglected part of home ownership. Like, the most normal dude, like, and he's just yapping about cleaning the gutters and like where he buys like his gutter covers and how like the cheese should be inside a burger. Like that was his other hot take. I guess that's
that
a
is
Minnesota
a good take.
thing.
It's a Minnesota thing. I like that take.
Yeah, cheese inside it.
I mean, I'm not too much cheese because I'm Asian, lactose intolerant. Yeah.
That's true.
But still, no. The guy is just so practical and wonderful, and so like I want him to be my coach. Like he reminds me of like the coaches that I grew up with and admired. In high school, he's just that good teacher. Because that's the other thing.
I mean, literally teacher and coach.
So. Yeah, I mean, a vice president who is a teacher, a public school teacher. That's amazing to me. That is amazing.
I feel like Tim Walz is like literally if someone asked ChatGPT, like, please design the perfect, like, wholesome American white man. And it came up with Tim Walz.
And then the opposite was true for Mr. Vance. Please give me the creepiest,
please give
weirdest,
me the opposite.
Most awkward, non-able to speak to people or order donuts dude ever in life.
So uncomfortable. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, here you go. Here's your option.
Like because I'm new to my job, and so I'm still meeting new people, and now I'm feeling uncomfortable because of JD Vance. I'm feeling uncomfortable and asking, how long have you been working here? I feel uncomfortable asking that because I feel like it's an awkward question now.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He made it weird. He ruined such a normal thing.
Like he couldn't even order donuts. Like he couldn't even give specifics. Like you gotta be specific when ordering donuts. You can't just give somebody give me some cinnamon rolls and give me some with the sprinkles. There are a lot of different donuts with sprinkles. You're forcing a person as a donut worker. Speaking from somebody who works in the food industry,
as a donut worker,
I'm saying you better choose the color of the sprinkle and do you want the chocolate sprinkles? Do you want the vanilla sprinkles? Do you want the fully sprinkled? Do you want just the top of it sprinkled? There's a lot of different options.
Or he could have just asked, like, what are your favorites? Like if he didn't like then that.
But why would he care about what that person at all? Like the follow-up to that, just JD Vance, if you are in any event crazily watching this and have watched it all the way through in minute 44 and you're watching this, use this as some advice. A good follow-up question to how long have you been working here is, do you like your job? Do you have another job?
Instead or maybe
what are your dreams? Do you want to be a manager, or do you have other goals besides this? It's pretty easy to try and get to know someone.
Yeah.
But okay,
you
good.
think he would have been trained a little bit more? Like, I'm just so confused how you can be that awkward at that level. Like, don't you have a team of like PR people that are like coaching you? Like, what's the excuse?
There is no excuse.
There is no excuse.
There really
is
no
that
excuse.
bad. It's just that bad.
It
like,
really
it can't
is.
Be helped.
The excuse is Peter Thiel has a lot of money and Donald Trump needs money. And so Peter Thiel was given license to choose who his VP was. That's basically what that whole thing boils down to.
I feel like they're regretting it. Like, they're regretting that choice.
I mean, when I would have been scared of this campaign is if they actually knew what they were doing. If they actually knew what they were doing, they would have picked Nikki Haley as their VP. If
but
they actually knew what they were doing. What are you talking about? She endorsed him. She would have done it.
But before that, she was very like.
Of course. Yeah, when she was running against him, but then when she dropped out, she immediately endorsed him.
Interesting.
She totally would have picked the VP. The whole Republican nomination process was all everybody running for VP.
Yeah.
Up and including Tim Scott's fake marriage.
God, I forgot about that.
He married that lady. That poor lady. She looked so scared in all their wedding photos. But anyway, you see, I talk about the dumb stuff. No, but Michelle, it's been a joy to talk to you, and we need to talk before the election is over. And also, there's another thing that I've been told not to talk about yet. But you know how we're supposed to make a history in October? Yeah. I will be in New York in October.
When in October?
But I can't tell you the dates or why yet until I'm given permission.
Okay.
But it is going to be a very big Filipino-American event that you will definitely want to be a part of and be in the audience for, because it's going to be in October, and there might be some banana ketchup involved.
Hopefully, I'll be here.
That was a little hint. That's all I'm going to say. Don't say anymore. Don't say anymore. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Okay, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, but anyhow.
Okay.
But this is just the first, because I want you to be on all the time. Because look at this, quick 45 minutes and we talked a whole bunch of different issues.
Dang,
we got your background. 47. We were on 47. We normally go like 45, 50 minutes. And the first time on the show where you're blazing through, we know all about you, your history, but also I'm so excited to get to know and get down in on the issues with you, because when we talked about the housing and how you're kind of a housing nerd, as your own words, and the fact that you were emotionally, you responded to Kamala's VP Harris is. I'm gonna stop, because that is a thing that we all do. That everybody, even in the media, calls her by her first name, and I feel like that should stop. VP Harris, or
I feel like there's been different like analysis of like
they even did that with Hillary. Look I just did it again.
But I think
they don't call women by their titles.
Okay with it, because like they're leaning into like Kamala, like they like the posters say Kamala, whatever. They're you know what I mean?
Yes, but put some respect. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's true.
That's what I'm trying to do, because we don't do that. I don't call. I say President Obama. Yes, I say Michelle, but Michelle. Everybody calls her Michelle. Nobody calls her First Lady Obama. I mean, that's weird. But everybody calls her Michelle because everybody loves her, like they know her by her first name. But
you're iconic already.
As far as VP Harris and the vice president, we really should, because she's been very presidential. So we should put a little bit of presidential on her name whenever we mention her. So that's kind of my. I'm gonna start. That's gonna be my promise till at least November 6th. And then I'm gonna be like, Kamala's my president. She's my president. You know how much I love that song, Freedom.
It's so good.
That song, Freedom.
Like the perfect campaign song. Genius. Whoever selected that, like, perfect.
And just so you know, Michelle, my plan for your third appearance on Miscellaneous Brown is we're gonna sing. You're gonna sing Freedom, and then I'm gonna rap.
We're gonna sing Freedom. I have this responsibility now to sing Beyonce on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
You're gonna go back to the
we'll
cafe.
Have to rehearse. I need to go find like a karaoke.
Or maybe we'll film it when I'm in New York.
I like that. Okay, that gives us like a month.
And it'll be like
also,
just on the timing, just so you kind of know, it probably is going to be in October, a few weeks before the actual election. So it should be a really good time, and we could probably, joint event everything up and make it a really big, wonderful.
Definitely. I love the chaos of October in New York. Like there's an event every single week. It's crazy. Multiple events per week.
And I can't wait to feel that New York energy again. Yeah. Because it's so vibrant and wonderful. And shout out your cafe again that you're at.
We are at Concept Coffee, Long Island City, Filipino coffee drinks. They got a buko pandan latte. They got ube matcha latte. It's really good.
And also, before we go, shout out if people have been listening this long for an hour with us, then they're interested in FilAms for Harris. So tell them where they can find and be a part of FilAms for Harris on Instagram, on TikTok, but also if they want to get in touch and be part of the campaign.
100%. If you want to join, get involved, please go to FilAms for Harris. That's our Instagram handle, Twitter, TikTok. It's the same thing across all of it. And then our link tree's in there with all our volunteer forms, any upcoming events, you can register there. If you fill out our volunteer form, you will get your information will be sent to your regional chair. So you'll start getting information on what's happening in your local area. How can you get involved in the Midwest or West or Chicago or East Coast? Also, shout out to the Filipino American Democratic Club of New York, which is another role I'm on. I'm vice president, and we've been really involved, obviously, with Stephen Raga and just everyone else here trying to get, specifically in New York, our presence known. So, FilAms New York, also follow that one.
I'm gonna tag all of them. Don't worry, I'll put all of them in the little Insta short that we put together, and also follow us here on YouTube at the 1-2 Productions. We are here. We're gonna be doing weekly videos. I've been teasing these comedy videos with the clips, and I'm just having to accumulate a bunch of clips, and there's a lot of clips. So that's coming soon too. So stay tuned here at 1-2 Productions, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of stuff. But Michelle will be back very soon, and Chris will be back very soon, and you're unfortunately stuck with me.
You'll get the whole board, the whole FilAms for Harris.
We got to have everybody. And you know what? My crowning jewel before the election, the future governor of California.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, Rob.
You have them lined up, scheduled?
Not yet. Not yet. I keep teasing it. It's like my tease for every episode. I mention Rob, especially because if you'd have played a drinking game, you'd have played a drinking game, and you'd have seen Rob Bunt, and every time you saw Rob Bunta during Kamala Harris's speech.
Oh my gosh! Right? Why was he on camera so much? That was hilarious.
It's because they are subliminally telling us that he's going to be the first Filipino governor of California. Yeah. He's coming. And
he was super present. Yeah. Very visible.
I'm very excited about it. And Michelle, thank you so much for being on the show. And
thank you for having me. My first podcast.
It's your very first podcast. See, painless. Except for all the times that internet. You better tell them over there at that cafe to fix their internet, because you dropped a couple times, but it's okay.
I'll let them know. Okay.
I'm a good host. There was no interruption in the flow. We kept the whole thing. It's good. So guys, remember, vote, follow FilAms for Harris on Instagram and TikTok and all the things.
Volunteer, get involved.
Or else I'm moving to Canada.
Just do something.
I'm moving to Canada, guys. I already got the hat. It's his old Montreal Expos hat. I'm telling you. If she doesn't win, I'm moving to Canada, because I'm already going to start doing some weed shows with Keith Pedro. Keith Pedro got shows in Canada. I'm gonna do shows with Keith Pedro. Shout out to Keith Pedro. So I already got my escape plan if Trump wins.
You got, yeah, you have the career of everything's already, like, you got the full plan.
You know, Michelle, we could keep talking, but we're gonna have to end this eventually.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, goodbye.
So thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon, okay? So it was a joy to see you in person and
yeah,
talk.
thank you. See you next month.
Yeah, next month for sure. Okay, I'm gonna end it.
I don't think you want any problems, but you got one. Here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Ayy, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Ayy, it's summertime, starting up a heat wave, and now all weekend, hardly slept in 3 days. Whoever's driving the car is the DJ. When it's Q, you better pump that bass. The dominance is obvious, I guillotine, heads roll everywhere I go, I rep Philippines. Found my way, turn amaze to amazing. Infinite flows discovered in an ancient spaceship. I see things before they happen, visionary. Bury me inside a studio at the cemetery. My modus operandi not monetary. Noah Lazarus, the holy one out the monastery. So let me see your cue, plus the why, that's the crew. I'm a giant, how I grew, still connected to my roots. Rhymes, I kick it like Bruce, got me feeling like Zeus. Standing tall like Manute, to reach this level need a boost. I don't think you want any problems, but you got one. Here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Ayy, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Ayy, smoother than Brazilian wax. I interact my life a cinematic reflection in the mirror max. With the pros, I'm proliferating. She said my syntax sounds so scintillating. Flavormatics on the beat, savory. Being scared, still doing it, that's bravery. Hunger turn us into savages. Ain't nobody give us nothing, had to do it alone, without a loan. Like Norfolk, Queens, Aquafina had the shell toe. Adidas used to hang with the drug dealers. Been doing this since cassette tapes in my Walkman, writing rhymes on the subway. Traditions I carry on, hip-hop scholar, mastered in the street science. Raw diamonds, I refine them with the stars in alignment. Got the youth to the truth, on the tree of knowledge, squeeze forbidden fruit, and made it juice. I don't think you want any problems, but you got one. Here we go. You can see the size is colossal. Look at the way she make the thing go. Make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Ayy, make it gyrate, make it shake like tectonic plates. That's what you call an earthquake. Ayy, I just wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night with you. I just wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night, wanna dance all night with you.